Everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Looks like Randy Bird's in the house.
Good to see you, Don. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Jeff Sutherland, welcome. I'm always happy to see your smiling face.
We got a great group coming in. A bunch of people are blowing me up coming in now.
Yeah, we were just doing a little debrief with Brindley before the introduction. So, oh my goodness, yeah, we do have a nice group coming in. That's great. Megan is quickly admitting. Hey, Kitty. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey,
Brindley. Did we deliver yesterday or what? Wasn't that a good meeting yesterday?
That was awesome.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Brindley, how you doing?
Somebody's talking to me.
Great.
I'm great. You broke up. I'm amazing.
Woohoo! Awesome. Got your mojo.
Okay. All right. We'll Megan, you're recording now, eh? All right. Well, so good morning, everybody. I'm Don Yoakum, and this morning we have a real treat for you. Brindley Tucker is going to talk to us about leverage in our business. And prior to getting into real estate, she had a background in investment banking, and then went into selling country club memberships, which is where she was introduced to realtors, because us realtors apparently are good prospects for country club memberships. You know, probably like Tom Dave's.
That's right.
Anyway, what really attracted me to Brindley and wanting her to share with you is that her company specializes in helping you gain leverage in your life. She's going to help you gain an awareness about the time value, the value of your time, that is, and then how you can gain leverage in your real estate business and then scale that both as a professional and then perhaps even building a team. And so Brindley, welcome, and why don't you take it away? What can you share with us today about how we can buy back some time in our life?
Well, Don, first and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity. And Randy and Andrea and Jeff, who have made this introduction, and Kirsty, I'm just so grateful for this community and being introduced to it. And I'm really excited to bring value today. I believe that time is our most precious commodity. And so I take a high responsibility when people give me their time. So I want to first start by saying that if we end this call and you did not get value, I will put my personal cell phone number in the chat, and I'd like you to reach out to me to make sure that you get that value, because I never want you to waste your time. So, and then I always like to ask permission. Andrea's on the call. Randy knows me very well. One of the things about me is that one of my core values is honesty. I believe that the truth sets us free, but it pisses us off first. And so I want to have permission to piss you off today. And the reason I do is because I love you and I want to prepare you for what's coming. And we don't know what's coming. We don't know how long it's going to last. None of us have a crystal ball, except we do know, I love that people are putting in the chat, permission granted. Thank you. What we do know is that we're going into winter. Whether we're going into winter because of the economy or we're just going into winter because we're going into literally winter, a winter is coming. And so what I've learned in my many years of being in real estate is that leverage is the power that allows us to do more with the limited time that we have. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Patrick cannot buy more time. Troy cannot buy more time. Ingrid cannot buy more time. The only way that you can get more time is by mastering the minutes that you have. And the way that we master our minutes is by leveraging the things that lower our hourly rate. So what I want to do today is I want to start with a little bit of an exercise to give you some clarity, because clarity is power, around what your current hourly rate is. And then talk a little bit about what leverage can look like And then I've had the joy of spending the last 15 days. I did 7 days in Tony Robbins' personal studio in West Palm Beach at Business Mastery, followed by Mega Camp with that other company, followed by Build in Dallas. So I've been in the room with a lot of smart people in the last 15 days. And so what I want to do at the end of the call is rapid fire my key points from those 3 conferences. How does that sound? And a lot of it is going to be around what you need to do to prepare for what's coming. And the way that you can prepare for what's coming is leveraging everything off your plate that is going to take you away from generating income. If you are doing anything that does not directly tie to you generating income that is going into your bank account, you have to stop doing it. You either have to stop doing it or find someone that can do it for less than you. So I'm going to pull up a slide real quick. Everybody take out their trusty little pen and paper. My coaching clients and my team know that if you're with me, you need a calculator, a pen, and a piece of paper, always. Because there's probably going to be some type of math involved. I always say everything in real estate is just a math equation that needs to be solved. That's it. And I wanted to be a math teacher. Now I'm a real estate teacher. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to roughly, and for all of my what I call high C's, engineer mind, detail, this might make you mad because we're not going to get your pencil out and go through 3 months of income statements to find out exactly what these numbers are. We're just going to give you an overview today. I do challenge you to go back and pull the last 7 or 8 months, since we're coming up on an end month, and pull your expenses. We all did this in COVID and we were shocked at how much we trimmed. And guess what? Those subscriptions have snuck back into our credit cards. Those fees are being swiped again. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go interrogate our expenses again and get those little creepy crawlers that have crawled back in. We need to get them out. So the first thing I want you to write down is how much cash went into your bank account last month. This is not the amount of cash or GCI you generated. This is cash money records that went into your actual bank account that you were able to use to fund your life. Whether that's investing, living, entertainment. So write down what that monthly income number was. Then I'd like you to write down how many hours per week on average that you're working. And don't cheat yourself. Don't write down 40 hours. That's not realistic. We all want to work 40 hours. Most of us are working 80. Those of you that are working 40 or less, we might want to, congratulations. It might be a good thing. And most of the time it's not, right? And then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take the number of hours that you put down and I want you to multiply it by 4. So if you put 60 hours a week, you're going to write down 240. That is going to give us a rough number of hours that you're working per month. Once you have that number, I want you to take your monthly income number, the first number you wrote down, and I want you to divide it by that monthly number of hours, the last number you wrote down. So take your first number, which is your monthly income that went into your bank account, and the last number, which is the number of hours that you work per week times 4. And that is going to give you your current hourly rate, roughly. I'd love to hear in the chat what goes through your head when you see that number. And don't be shy, because I can guarantee you somebody else on this call is thinking the exact same way you are. One of 2 thoughts just went exactly, Christina, Heather, yep, I'm expensive, right? So here's the thing. 2 things probably went through your head. One of 2 things. Number 1, you said, that's freaking awesome. I'm making a killing. I am at my hourly rate. I'm doing awesome. Or you said, holy moly, I'm cheap. I have a feeling the majority of you on this call said number 2. So if you want to know the fastest way to increasing that hourly rate is to take a notebook or a Remarkable, put it next to you for the next week and write down every single thing you do. And then when you look at that list, you ask yourself, can I pay someone less than what I want my hourly rate to be to do that work? Now, some of you are saying, well, no one's going to do it as well as me. You're right. That's a hallucination, as Tony Robbins calls it, because no one is you. No one has put the blood, sweat, tears, and past history into what you've built. But if you have somebody that does it 80% as well as you would do it, you have good leverage. Now, here's something I'm going to start with. Now, if this gives you joy, then please, by all means, keep doing it. But the majority of the world does not enjoy cleaning their own toilets and mowing their own grass. And I use this as the example because here's what's happened. Aaron's giving me a smirk. Here's what happens. Well, if I mow my grass, it's free. I want you to look down at that number you wrote down, that hourly rate number. It ain't free. That's how much it's costing you to mow your grass. Those of you that are still cleaning your house, that's how much you're paying a house cleaner. Because every minute counts. And every minute you're pushing a lawnmower or you're scrubbing a toilet, you're taking away from income generating activities. You're taking away from one more recruiting conversation to attract one more agent. You're taking away from one more listing appointment that can generate revenue. Merriam-Webster says that leverage is using something to maximum advantage. To me, leverage is using everything to maximum advantage. I'll tell you this quick story before I go into the rapid fire of what I've learned in the last 15 days. I was raised by a single mother. I'm an only child. Why would I ever think that the world isn't all about me? That's why I've been in therapy for 10 years and recovery for 10 years, right? When you're somebody's entire world and then you go out into the world and you realize, wait, the whole world's not about me? But my mother has never been married. I have been that woman's entire life. I tried to start escaping her at 18. She followed me everywhere. I went to 7 different states and she followed me to every single one of them. So finally at 38, I said, okay, you want to be my mom? Then I'm going to pay you to be my mom. So it's on my terms, not yours. Got to pay for you anyway. Might as well have the write-off. And now I legitimately pay my mother to be my mom. I don't take out my trash. I don't pick up after myself. I don't make my appointments. I don't pay my own bills. I don't book my travel. I don't have to meet the electrician at the house. I'm in Washington for the summer and she's in Florida and lightning struck the house on Saturday and I didn't have to do a single thing. But guess what happened for all those years? My ego told me, well, I'm 40. I can't have my mommy taking care of me. I mean, it might be why I'm still single, but I'm always accepting resumes, right? And I finally put my ego out of the way and said, wait a minute, if I'm doing all of those things, I can't have the impact on the world and leave the legacy that I want to leave. And we don't realize that taking out the trash is minutes that add up. Because minutes turn into hours, hours lead to days, days lead to weeks, weeks lead to months, months lead to years. So if your ego is getting in the way of preventing you from allowing someone to take care of you, tell it to stop. Because what it's doing is it's preventing you from being your best self, from making the biggest impact that you can on the agents that you're recruiting, the teams that you're leading. And more importantly, you got YOLO. You got one life to live. And you should be living life. So with that said, your number one enemy exists between your 2 ears. Your number one enemy exists between your 2 ears. And the common theme that I have heard across the board in the last 2.5 weeks is that we've got to turn that enemy into an ally. And the way that we turn that enemy into an ally is by feeding it every single day. People ask me, if you want to hear a little bit about my personal story, you can Google the One Thing podcast, episode 78. You can also find it on my Facebook page. 10 years ago, I hit a true rock bottom. I was in the lowest place of my life. I was self-medicating at a really high level. And the woman that's before you today is not the Brindley Tucker that was born. It's the Brindley Tucker that I built. over the last 10 years. And my head had me dead for a lot of years. And still to this day, I want to quit 15 times a day. 15 times a day, I want to go screw this. And every time I add another human to my organization, I want to quit even more. That's real talk, right? Leadership is not easy. That's why not everybody does it. And I'm not selling ice cream. And I like to be liked. And even lactose intolerant people don't like ice cream. So not everybody's going to like us. We got to like us. We got to like us so that we like us when everybody else may not. So you have to feed your mind every day. And at the end of the call, I'm going to give you 5 things to do every day that will change your life. But first, I want to talk about where we're headed. And here's what's happening, guys. Shifts happen. And they don't just happen in markets. They happen in life. You could get a phone call right now that could change the trajectory of your entire life. One phone call. And some of us on this call have received that phone call. It's not about shift happening. It's about being prepared for when shift happens. It's about knowing and preparing for what's unexpected, because we are guilty of always waiting for things to get easier. And guess what? They never do. It's just the hard stuff gets managed better. You're constantly growing your lid because you know that, okay, if I get through this hard time, it's going to make the next hard time even easier. We all know right now that there is a ton of uncertainty in the world. There is uncertainty in the market. There is uncertainty in the culture of our society. There is uncertainty in our government. There are 6 basic human needs, which I could do a whole nother call on. But the 2 that I talk about today are the 2 most important, which is certainty and significance. People want to know for certain they're going to be okay, and they want to know and feel important. So it's our job as leaders, as realtors. And when I say leader, leadership starts with you, leading ourselves. We can't lead others until we lead ourselves. You lead the transaction. You lead your buyers and sellers. You lead every single day. And leaders have to create certainty. And certainty is created with data and fact, not feelings. And right now, the agents that know their data and can deliver it on a daily basis will win this market. And I am sharing all of this with you today, and I am being very direct and willing to make you mad and make your brain look for every exit in the world, because that's what it does when it's uncomfortable. Because I want the 56 people on this call to still be here in 12 months, in 18 months, in 24 months. Because the reality is 1/3 of the realtors in your board will not be here in the next 12 to 24 months. The ones that will be here are the ones that get ahead of the market, know their data, know their trends, know their facts, and can create certainty and make people feel significant, period. Our job is to bring perspective to our clients, to be the economist of choice, because we understand the issues and we can explain them. That is why people hire us. If you are not in production and you're focused on agent attraction right now, then you're all of your pouring in and coaching to your agents that are in production, because we all know rev share doesn't work if nobody's selling houses, right? So all of your coaching right now to your agents that are in production needs to be about data. If you want to add value to them, send out a data report every morning. Show them the trends in their market. Show them the price decreases that are happening overnight. Show them the competition that's coming on the market in the last 24 hours. You can ignore the market and just do the activities that you've needed to get by, or you can do the activities that are going to make you succeed in this market. Because shifts are never unexpected. They're always predictable. Everything in real estate is cyclical. We just don't know how long and how challenging. And that's why we have to be prepared. All of the stress right now that you feel, that your clients feel, is all caused by uncertainty. You create the certainty and you have their motivation, you create the sale. Here's what I want to give you today, though. What if I gave you 6 opportunities that it didn't matter if we're in a recession, it didn't matter what the market did, you could still sell homes to these 6 opportunities. Do you want them? These are the 6 Ds to recession-proof your sales. Are you ready? Death, divorce, dependence, downsizing, deployment, dividends. Death, divorce, dependence, downsizing, deployment, and dividends. I just put them in the chat. The majority of you on this call do not get out of bed in the morning and put your feet on the ground and go, I can't wait to lead gen today. I cannot wait to sit down for 2 hours to 3 hours and be rejected. Now, there's always 1 or 2 freaks on the call. And God bless you. I wish I were you. Brody raised his hand. Yeah, Brody's our freak, right? Yet the majority of us don't. And here's the reality, guys. It's not that you hate lead generating. You hate hunting. You love helping people. You love talking to people that you can help. You hate hunting for them. So if you don't want to have to hunt, go find the people that need your help. Are your qualifying questions set up? Are your buyer pre-qual? Are your listing pre-qual? Are those questions set up to find out if there is any death, divorce, dependence, downsizing, deployment, or dividends? By the way, dividends is a big amount of cash that has come into their life. All right. You got to lower your expenses. You got to do the things that matter. You got to find the motivated. This is all about lead conversion. And also, it's about pricing ahead of the market so that you can create urgency. So the conversation with sellers who want to wait, how long? You've got to be able to educate your sellers on the reality of what's about to come. It's our duty to the client to have the conversation. I do a lot of work in neuro-linguistic programming. I do breakthrough sessions with my clients to help them release baggage and trauma from the past that is holding them back from succeeding in their businesses. And the unconscious mind is always going to look for a way to protect you, which means it's always going to look for an exit. If you notice, when I came on this call, I didn't start just rapid firing you and bossing you around. I asked permission first. What that did was it opened your mind, your unconscious mind, to say, okay, I know this lady wants to help me, so I'm not going to close right now. I'm going to be open. Have that same conversation with your sellers. I love the line of, listen, Mr. Seller, the truth sets us free, but first it pisses us off. And I need to know that we can have truthful conversations, because that's what it's going to require to get your home sold for the most money. They have to look at the data. Help them with the data so they can make the best decision. Look at the number of showings. Look at the number of price reductions. Show them the trends. Show them the houses. Show them their competition. Do you know their competition? Today's price reductions will lead to lower price sales in September and October, which will affect data. We have to make a common enemy of other active homes for sale. The truth is, whoever leads the market will always get more money than followers. Mr. Seller, do you want to lead or follow? The perceptions from buyers, if you've been on the market for too long, will be that they can get a deal. Do you want buyers to think that when they're looking at your home? If you walk into, Grayson, a grocery store and there's one item left on the shelf, what do you typically do? You pick something else, right? Because your brain thinks, oh, well, it's somebody left one left. There's something left on the shelf. I have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to give you 2 things. It might run a little bit over, but I promise it'll be worth it. Here are 3 questions that you can ask to change the limiting belief of your clients, your team members, yourself. 3 questions. Number 1, is it true? Interrogate the hallucination. Could this be a misinterpretation? Could this be a misperception? Mr. Seller, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Seller, do you have all the possible information that you need to actually think that? Or could this be based on fear? So number 1, is it true? Number 2, you've got to get leverage. How many of you have said you want to do something, and you've said you want to do it, and you've said you want to do it, but you didn't actually do it until the pain was great enough and you were sick and tired of being sick and tired? That's called leverage. So you got to find their leverage. And you do this by saying, What do you feel? What do you experience when you think that? How does it feel to be handcuffed by a market and limiting beliefs around the market? What does it do for you to still be sitting in the house that you should have sold 6 months ago? This will give you the leverage you need to know their motivation. And then number 3, you got to annihilate the limiting belief. And you do this by taking them into the future and showing them what thinking or behaving differently will look like. If this thought, if this behavior didn't exist, what would your life look like? What would it feel like if you got $20,000 more today than you would if we wait for 3 weeks? What would you do with that $20,000? Take them there. And then lastly, 5 things that you should do every day to change your life. Number 1, feed your mind daily. You can do this through prayer, meditation, reading something, but feed your mind. 2, feed and train your body. Just do something that you go beyond what's comfortable today. I call it a 1% improvement. I used to be the girl that said, if you see me run, you should run because I'm running to something or away from it. I now can run a 5K tomorrow, today, if I wanted to. I didn't do that overnight. First, I ran from one stop sign to the next. Then I ran 2. Then I ran 3. Then I ran 4. And then I ran 3 miles and somebody told me a 5K was 3.15 and I was pissed. Right? I didn't go from the girl that never runs to being mad about being 0.15 shy of a 5K overnight. So just do 1% improvement every day. Text people you care about too will help you feed your mind and body. Number 3, find a model. Guys, here's the truth. There is not a lack of resources. There's a lack of resourcefulness. You don't have to reinvent the wheel on anything today. It's called Google. You just got to go find the person that's already done what you want to do and do what they did. And your models cannot be your coaches and your leaders. They need to be someone outside of that. Number 4, proximity is power. If you are surrounding yourself with people that are not supporting you where you want to go, get rid of them. It sounds harsh, but I promise if they're supposed to be in your life, they will come back. When I got sober 10 years ago, I had to wipe out my entire Rolodex. And guess what? The people that were important are back in my life today. And I'm much happier because proximity is power. And then number 5, every day, give away more than you expect to receive. Every day, give away more than you expect to receive. So thank you so much. I hope this was valuable.
Oh, you're on fire. And I'm getting texts out even outside of the chat, loving your message. It's quite timely because we are looking at a market shift. And I love your create certainty and significance. You know, when I was selling in the 90s, actually, when Tom Daves and I met, the inventory was 18 to 24 months. And of course, I had my listing presentation and those things that I did to get their home sold. But I don't think that mattered so much as that seller looking across the table and asking themselves, is this guy going to be able to get the job done? Right? So I had to have the confidence to give them the confidence to entrust their home with me. Right? And that was a really powerful lesson that I learned. Also, you know, talking about this leverage, you know, what Brindley's telling you guys is basically do an inventory of what your time is worth. And anything that is below that is bringing your average down. You know, when some years ago, I made a list of everything that I did in my role, and there were about 20. And I put a dollar figure by each and every one of those things, like what would it cost to pay somebody to do this thing? And my commitment to myself was every 90 days, I would cut something off the bottom. And that just kept raising my hourly wage, right? Isn't that what you're basically talking about, Brindley?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And you've got to know your worth if you want other people to know your worth. You have to respect your worth if you want other people to respect your worth. It's your job to protect your mind share and your time share. If people are taking away from your mind share and time share, they're lowering that hourly rate.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So Brindley has a company that will help you provide leverage. Brindley, you should put your contact information in there, because if you don't have a TC, she can assist you with that. If you don't have, I learned the term fractional assistant. So you don't have
Yes.
to bite the bullet on a full-time assistant. What if you just need 10 or 20 hours a week? She can make that possible for you, and she'll track the expense. And when it comes time and your business is at a stage where it would justify getting your own full-time assistant or two, she'll let you know. So Brindley, thank you so much for bringing the fire this morning. We really appreciate you, and I know that this is going to inspire a lot of folks to take some action, hopefully delegate some of their less than genius, and some of those, I hope we've got less people cleaning toilets after today's message.
Listen, if cleaning toilets gives you joy, then by all means, do it. And the majority of us, it doesn't. I will say this: if you are questioning leverage, if you're like, I have no idea how I can afford it, I put my information in the chat. Shoot me an email. Let me help you annihilate some of those limiting beliefs and show you the possibility. We are committed to following the life of the business owner, so we can provide leverage anywhere you are. We're not about just making money, right? If you're spending 40 grand on a TC with us every year, we're going to look at you and go, hey, why are you using us? We carry you a full admin. So really about maximizing the ROI on your time and your pennies. That's what leverage is about. And I am here to help you. This is what I'm passionate about. Please, you will not be bothering me. Be patient with my assistant and my schedule. Yet, if you want to jump on a call, we can work that out as well. So thank you for the honor and the privilege, Dawn. Thank you.
Oh gosh, thank you. And hey guys, go make it happen, baby. You've got your marching orders now. So do that evaluation, find some leverage, and lift your worth. Have a great week. See you, everybody.
That
Thank
was
you, guys.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Super
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.